Before we start today's show, today we want to give a big shout out to Buzz TV. Man, Buzz TV has some really good devices, man. Like this last year, they've come up with some good stuff, and this new year, I'm excited to see what they got.
Yo, it's going to be straight fire. Some devices and features, because I don't want to say one or the other. With Buzz TV, it's hand in hand. They've dropped some fire devices and some amazing features that are always taking things to the next level.
So don't forget to check out the description below.
You know, no matter where you guys are listening, watching, whatever from, make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, that like, drop us a comment, and the reviews actually help us a great deal. If you're looking to do anything for us in this year coming and beyond, the reviews help other viewers like yourself find this podcast and enjoy it as well. So thank you guys. And with all that being said, let's start the show.
And welcome to Beyond the Streams with
another one level.
Roha.
And here we go. Get ready, because we got some things to talk to you guys. Should be interesting, should be fun. We'll just
Here we go.
You know what? We just gotta go. Apps being shut down.
Hold on.
APKs are being shut down. Let me clarify.
Are you referencing a video that I made about a video by any chance?
A video that you made about a video? I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Carry on.
I know I have a video coming up that I talked about this stuff. Did you have a video coming up talking about this stuff?
Well, I had watched, I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a very, very big streaming YouTuber who had put out a video, and his video was Cinema HD shut down. And this person had a lot of views, and his facts were incorrect. So I later that day released a video correcting his facts and showing that it wasn't actually shutting down because of the reasons he said. Now, it could very well be shutting down. We never know. But for the reasons he said, it wasn't actually shutting down.
We have a numbnuts, huh?
I mean, we're all viable to falling into these traps. No one knows everything. He did actually take down the video. So my video
is somebody we know, somebody we're cool with.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot him a message later.
if you find my Cinema HD shutting down video and you go into the comments, you'll figure out who it is, because people are like, yeah, I watched that video.
Oh no, poor guy. I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was somebody else that normally does these type of videos that has their information wrong 100% of the time.
No.
So no. So what I mean by APKs are being shut down, this is starting next month, August 2021, depending when you are going to be watching this. Depending when you're watching this, August of 2021, the Google Play Store is taking down all APKs and switching to AAB.
Right.
They're switching over to AAB. Now, what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean for streaming devices like the NVIDIA Shield? What does it mean for apps like, and I'm not talking about Firesticks at all. I'm talking about like streaming devices that use APKs and any Android streaming device that uses the Google Play Store that relies on APKs is now going to have to switch to AAB. Now, check this out. This is something very interesting that a lot of people have been thinking about. And I was actually, when I was doing my video yesterday, I'm just like, wait a minute, what the hell is this going to happen? Like, okay, for instance, we know Downloader is a big app that is used in Amazon. It's also available in the Google Play Store. So what's going to happen to Downloader on the Google Play Store? If you don't have Chrome built into your NVIDIA Shield, because a lot of us have to get either Puffin, or we have to find a way to sideload Chrome, or we have to find Downloader, or we have to find like all these, we have to go around hoops of fire to get some of these apps on our NVIDIA Shield. What does that mean now with that?
No, as far as I know, now I'd probably have to do some more reading, is they're not actually phasing out APKs, but everything in the App Store is going to be AABs. So you should be able to still sideload the APKs, should you not, or no?
I don't know. From what I read,
yeah,
APKs will no longer exist in the Google Play Store.
That's right. But and it's also my understanding that AABs can't be sideloaded unless you have the Play Store on your device. So that's the only stipulations that I've read so far, is that if you're looking to sideload an AAB, then you need to have the Google Play Store. If you don't have the Google Play Store, then you can't sideload an AAB. But I would think that you could still sideload an APK.
But that's kind of like saying I have an Apple device and I'm trying to sideload an APK inside of Apple. It's two different protocols. It's two different codes, two different everything. I don't know what that means if you're using official Android TV with Google, because Google's going to be switching to AAB. Does that mean every single app within that Google Android TV, are they going to flip it now, or are they going to allow you to keep your APKs on there for a period of time? Like, I don't know how that works. Like, the way I read it, it's kind of like this. Windows uses .exe. iOS, Apple.iOS. Android.apk. Google Play Store used to be .apk. Now they're switching it to .aab, which is a completely different code. Now what?
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what this means. If they're going to have to switch the entire OS, like something's going to have to change, because there's no way you could have put it this way. Here's something very interesting that I don't know if you've heard, but Windows 11 is going to be APK compatible.
Yes.
Did you hear about that?
Yes.
They're going to be using the Amazon store,
right?
Because they're the only ones right now that are using APKs. So now you're going to like everybody knows Windows 11, you had to get something like BlueStacks or some of these third-party Android players for your Windows. Now you don't have to do that. Now you're going to be able to download APKs on Windows 11. So you'll be able to get Downloader and
right.
I think one of the developers said that you'll be able to sideload if an APK exists. You'll be able to sideload that if it's not in the store. Just like a Fire Stick, you'll be able to do the same exact thing on Windows. It'll be an app. You're going to be able to pin it on your taskbar. You're going to be able to do it like a normal app using the APK format. So when I think about that, like, okay, like Windows 10 and before, we weren't able to do that. Now we can. Windows 11, you're going to be able to get APKs on there now. And this is all legal and everything from Microsoft. They're allowing this. But the Google Play Store is now switching their stuff. You know, one thing that I did read on this AAB format. I don't know if you're familiar with this either. This is gonna blow a lot of people's minds. I did a video on this that's gonna come up later this month. So I'm glad this episode's coming out before that video comes out. But did you know? Okay, so we know with iOS, with Apple, they can track when those apps were downloaded. They can track where it got downloaded from. They could track everything on iOS. Everything is tracked down to the freaking micro. You know? Did you know AAB now is following suit? There is an actual code inside an AAB app that is going to be able to track your IP address. It's going to be able to track everything. And the reason why they're doing that is if somebody decides to steal or to move or to change something, they're going to be able to find out. They're going to have that store locked down exactly how iOS does it. I think your brain just exploded.
I really hope you're wrong. I'm just saying, I really hope you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that I really hope that you're wrong because I don't want that to happen.
Me neither. I read this from Tech Radar that they're saying that the reason why they're doing this, there's two reasons. One of them, of course, they're trying to make it seem this is the main reason. But the first reason is file size smaller.
Yes, that's what they're leading with.
That's going to be much smaller. Right. That's what they're leading with. Second reason, they're saying if something happens to an app, there's a tracker code in there that they'll be able to recover it to help the developer out. That's how they worded it. And I'm just like, wait a minute. If they're putting a tracker number in there to see where it goes or where it gets downloaded, like they're going to be getting analytics with not only how many people use the app, but how are they using the app and demographics. Like, think about that. If I'm over here from the United States as a Hispanic living in California, they're going to be able to beep, beep, like all the way down to the smallest level, like based on, and I got this wording from Tech Radar that they have this code in there to track any information that they need to help out the developer. And I'm just like, that sounds to me. Remember, your identity is very valuable. Your data is very valuable. If they could sell that information, very valuable. Now think, iOS has been known to do stupid crap like this. Google Play Store is following suit.
Okay, so a couple things that I've been, I guess, reading while we've been having this discussion is that sideloading is going to be a little bit trickier when it comes to AABs, which I already knew. It says that you can use a third-party installer to install an AAB package onto a device. For example, APK Mirror Installer allows you to install APKM bundles, which is a base APK plus spit APKs with its installer app. So you can still do it, but it's a little bit trickier. And the other thing that changes, when you're downloading additional files for applications, it goes into your Android OBB folder, right? So they're getting rid of that OBB folder, and everything's going to be done through the Play Store. So it's going to be heavily linked to the Play Store. So with those devices that are on the market, I think it's like the Huawei's or the what is it? The Huawei's and the Mi devices. They don't have the Play Store on them, I don't think. So I guess it's another way to really separate themselves from devices they don't want on their operating system, because they came out with Harmony OS, and Harmony OS is like another version of Android. It's their version of Android. So they can run their own applications, have their own app stores. They're like, we do our thing, you do your thing, you stay in your own sandbox.
They're tightening up on a lot of stuff.
You know, I keep saying this. Shit is going to keep changing. Stuff gets difficult, more and more difficult. We can say less and less on the U-boob. So you got to join the communities to stay up to date, because things are going to start to change very, very quickly over the next year to two in regards to everything, in regards to the content that we can share, in regards to how you can do things with your devices and how you can talk about them. So,
yeah. So leave us a comment below. Let us know. Leave us a comment. Let us know, what do you guys think about this? This sucks. We'll see what happens. The way I see it is YouTube has an APK. YouTube has an iOS. YouTube has a .exe. YouTube has all the different versions of the app, so that way it's available everywhere. Now YouTube's going to have a different version of this new format, AAB. They're going to have to, for one, if Amazon is still using APKs, that means YouTube is still going to have to provide that. But it's not just Amazon using APKs. It's Roku also. It's Chromecast. Well, actually, I don't know about Chromecast since they're using the official Android TV. Actually, that's the thing that confuses me. Android TV is APKs, but if the Google Play Store is switching their APKs to AAB, is Android gonna switch over also? Who owns Android? It's not Google, right?
Google owns Android. They do. They didn't create it. They bought it back when it was Android like version 2. They own
it then.
They own it, yes.
Well, then if they're switching over to AAB, then they're switching Android over to AAB. Mm-hmm. Which means anybody who's using Android TV will be now on AAB.
Okay, so this goes directly into a conversation I was having earlier today. Like directly into that conversation I was having earlier today, because my argument into why we're not going to see a new NVIDIA Shield with beefed up specs is because companies are moving away from beefed up specs and more to cloud-based applications, right? If we look at the Google Play Store, we're starting to see instant access to applications and games. You don't even need to install it. It's all done through the cloud, right? So when we move to AAB and we shrink the file sizes and we move away from the OOB files like we talked about, and everything's done more and more in the cloud, do we need to have these beefed up specifications? It's very interesting because if we look at historically, Google is one of the biggest companies in the world, one of the biggest tech giants in the world. And historically, year over year, they produce the most unimpressive smartphone, in my opinion. I'm not cool. It's an okay device, but I'm not impressed. Right? Okay, Samsung comes out with a Note. That's great. Samsung comes out with a Fold. That's great. OnePlus has smooth, fluid interfaces. Their phones are fast, whatever. Okay, cool. When was the last time you heard someone talk about a Pixel? Nobody talks about the Pixel. I don't hear people bragging about a Pixel. But if they can create an ecosystem where you don't need a fancy flagship because everything's running off the cloud, you have these instant APKs or AABs now, then it doesn't matter what hardware you have.
So what does this have to do with the Shield?
Well, my argument is if we do see a Shield, we're not going to see a Pro, because there's no reason for them to upgrade the hardware anymore, right? I say if you have the older version, the 15 or the 17 that came with the 500 gig hard drive, hold on to that like gold. If I could purchase those, I would purchase those instead of the 19 version, or if there's going to be a 2022 or 2019.
There was that 500 gigs was only on the 15.
Right.
On the 2015. 2017 is the same as the 19, but just with overclock specs.
And that's it. And they overclocked it they took what 5-10 years to actually overclock the same chip, and then they decreased the internal memory, right? And then they started pushing their cloud-based gaming platform, which is GeForce Now, right? Even if they don't push their GeForce Now, they're running Android. Android has the ability to use, what is it? Luna, Stadia, xCloud, which is Xbox's one. I'm not sure about the PlayStation one. Is it usable on Android as well? Do you know?
No,
Not yet. But I mean, eventually they're all going to be playable everywhere. So because everything is going to be done in the cloud, and I know that you don't like that idea because you're not a fan of the cloud yet. Unfortunately, that's kind of where the society is going right now. And they're going to use it as an excuse and as a solution at the same time, not to spend money developing hardware on the local side for the end user. Honestly, that's how I see the things going. If you like it or not, that's just how I see things going.
So do you think the Shield is not going to have a device this year?
So there was an interesting article. We recently did a podcast talking about actually last week talking about the gaming news. We talked about the Switch, right? There's a new Switch coming out, and all they did was switch the screen. There's no new CPU, there's no new RAM, there's nothing like that. And the interesting thing that I read over on aftvnews.com was he said there's usually a link between the Switch having a new processor and the NVIDIA Shield using the same processor when it comes out with a new device. So he's making the educated assumption that because the new Switch is not coming with a new CPU from NVIDIA, there isn't going to be a new NVIDIA coming out this year. And, I'll kind of fill in the unsaid words and say, if there is a new NVIDIA coming out this year, it's not going to have a new processor. So what's the point?
Yeah.
I could honestly see them phasing out the Pro models. I can see that.
So if you guys are looking for a device, get Buzz TV. Get some Buzz TV.
I don't know. People are probably sitting at home listening to these podcasts and they're like, be on the streams and rohas and Next Level. They hate NVIDIA. They hate NVIDIA Shield. That's not true. Like, we've used NVIDIA devices, and when we like them, we like them. And when they start to get a little bit lackluster, when they start to put no effort, like, honestly, right now, I feel like there's more effort in their marketing than their actual product. When we had that conversation earlier and you called NVIDIA and they were like, oh, these are just the 2017 Shields in a 2019 box. Like, that's more effort, in my opinion, in marketing than the actual product. They just slapped an X on the X Plus, Tegra X Plus, instead of Tegra X1. It's just...
And even when I put in that IDA 64 app to see what it says, it didn't even say Tegra X Plus.
X1 Plus, yeah. No.
It didn't say anything. I'm just like, yeah, so when people say like, oh, you hate NVIDIA, my graphics card in my computer is NVIDIA.
Yeah.
In my main TV, the big stupid expensive TV I got runs NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And it's not like that I hate NVIDIA. What I hate what they're doing is like, imagine you're getting a 4K Fire Stick from 2015. And then they said, hey, here is the 4K Fire Stick. Again, Plus, Pro, Max, whatever you want to call it, Light. And there is no difference. They didn't do...
What?
And even better. You know what?
Technically, they did that this year. They gave you a new remote.
They gave you a new remote. Technically, they did do that.
They learned it from NVIDIA.
They just said, hey, let's do...
That's what NVIDIA did every freaking launch. They changed the remote.
Well, no, to be fair though, Amazon did the second gen Fire Stick, and then they did the third gen, and then they did the Lite, the third gen Fire Stick and the Lite, and then they said, hey, you know what? With the third gen Fire Stick, we're going to change the remote out. I don't know if they're going to relaunch the 4K Fire Stick with the new remote. I hope not, because they have to update their RAM. They have to update several things in the 4K Fire Stick to be up to par with what the 3rd gen is doing in the Lite. Because I'll say this, the Fire Stick Lite runs smoother than the 4K Fire Stick. It
depends on how many things you have installed.
Well, just get the basics. I'm not saying to cap that sucker off. I'm just saying if you have Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, if you have the basics, like what you're supposed to get off of those Fire Sticks, what they're actually meant for, the light shits on the Shield on the 4K. I'm sorry, the Fire Stick Lite shits on the 4K Fire Stick all day long. Now, some people are going to be like, well, it depends if you get like all these third-party apps. I'm not talking about modifying it to do stuff that the Amazon Fire Stick was not meant to do. When you start adding third-party stuff, again, you're already admitting that you're adding more stuff to it than what the stick was meant to do.
Right. Well, yeah.
So you got to be fair. The way they built that thing, the Fire Stick Lite runs smoother out the box than the 4K Fire Stick.
And there's a couple reasons for that, for sure. It is using an updated version of Android, an updated version of Fire OS,
the newer RAM,
software,
newer chip, all that.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what I'm saying. If the 4K Fire Stick comes out this year and says, here is the 4K, here's the 2nd gen 4K Fire Stick, and the only difference is the remote. All the specs and everything inside does not change. They just add a remote. You'll be pissed, because if out the box, if the Fire Stick Lite runs smoother out the box than the 4K Fire Stick, and that's because there's a newer, it's like DDR3 versus DDR4.
Yeah.
If the Fire Stick Lite has DDR4 and the 4K Fire Stick is running DDR3, and they're just like, hey, we have a new 4K Fire Stick with DDR3. It's just like, wait, that's the same thing as the old one. Out the box, the 4K Fire Stick will not be better. So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's kind of like, that's what NVIDIA did. That's exactly what NVIDIA did. And I really hope Amazon does not do that.
I hope Amazon doesn't do that. I hope they don't. How do I say this nicely? I hope that if they do re-release the 4K Fire Stick, that maybe it's like a software jump, because I don't think they can actually upgrade the software on the 4K sticks like how they did it on the 3rd generation stuff, right? Like increase the optimization of how it uses the RAM, so it gets the same snappiness as the 3rd generation. Now it's very, very close. The performance is very close already. And I'm hoping, because it has that additional half a gig of RAM, if it gets the same software increase, that you'll notice that performance a little bit better than you would on the 3rd generation. Mm-hmm. I would like to see 2 gigs of RAM on it, but for some reason, I feel like we're not going to see that. I feel like we're not going to see it. I feel like more and more these companies aren't pushing to get to that next level of hardware. They're pushing a lot harder to get that to that next level of cloud-based crap, right? They want everything to be processed in the cloud. They want everything, because that way that no matter the device you use, you can access all their services, and you can pay monthly. You can have more services you pay monthly for. And that's where the real money's at. It's paying monthly versus one time and owning something. And that's where we're going with a lot of these devices. So anyways, NVIDIA Shield, do I think it's over? It's been over for me for a while. And I wanted to bring this up about the NVIDIA Shield. Most people will say the NVIDIA Shield is overkill unless you're gaming. But if we start to switch more and more to cloud-based gaming, then the statements are the current NVIDIA Shields are overkill.
Big time.
Because even the Fire Sticks can do cloud-based gaming. Even the GTVs can do cloud-based gaming, and they don't have the same kind of specs that the NVIDIA Shield does. So if the statement that always backs up the NVIDIA Shield is the NVIDIA Shield is overkill unless you're gaming, if you take gaming out of the picture because it's all done in the cloud, then NVIDIA already understands, if all the end users understand that it doesn't need all this power, then what's the point of spending all this money on hardware development and implementing either the same specs or upgraded specs into the next generation of the devices? It just doesn't make any sense. Businesses are in there to make money, not to make stupid decisions. And they've spent the last 6 years, 2015, 6 years, 6 years making money off the same damn product. I think if they do come out with another device, it's going to be improving on the Pringles can or the Stogie, making it more convenient, because let's be real, that thing is a prototype. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm throwing this thing under the bus. This thing right here. This thing I'm calling a prototype. And the reason I'm calling this thing a prototype is because where the hell do you put it? When you connect this to your TV, do you leave this circular thing on your entertainment stand, just sitting there looking ugly as F?
It looks like it's throwing up on both sides.
Right. It's got cables coming from both sides. Do you put it on the floor where it has ventilation and it collects dust? This is
you know what they're trying to do with that thing?
Throw it in the trash.
And this is like I was really looking into this thing, and it's funny because
I'm so shitting on the Shield today,
dude. If people know how to set up their cables properly, and I could almost guarantee you, most of you guys out there, you people and ladies, most of you ladies, you guys probably have a rat's nest behind your TV.
Yeah.
You guys probably have a grip ton of cables just laying around all over the place. What I do is I buy this Velcro thing, and I organize my cable. I zip tie them, and then I Velcro it all around, and it's sealed like a tube, like the Shield tube. It's sealed like a Shield tube. With my my computer, I have the same thing. When you look at stuff with cars, a lot of the stuff with cars will have like a tube with everything inside of it, you know, and the cables come out. I think what they were trying to do with that thing is you stick that behind your TV like a Fire Stick, and you just have a cable that comes in, cable that comes out, and it's supposed to look like a vehicle or like something that's organized, you know, like that. The thing is that with that thing, it just looks, to me, that thing looks hideous. I'm just like, that's where that thing belongs, in the back of your TV where nobody can see it, and it's kind of organized. But the thing is that you can't cover it and put any other cables around it, because then you're just going to be creating heat over it.
The problem is that it's going to collect dust if you put it behind the TV. I've seen people hang it from places and like put it behind the TV. It's just, you spend $200 on this freaking device. I don't know what it is in the States. I'm going with Canadian prices. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. I have no idea, but you spend
like
$200. Huh?
I'm like, that's like 25 cents US.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and if okay, I hate to do this. I hate to freaking do this, but I'm gonna do it. So, if I'm gonna spend my hard-earned cash on a device, it's gotta look good on my entertainment unit. I gotta be able to be like, yo, when I walk into a house and I look at that, I'm like, yo, what is that? Like, when I look at the new Buzz TV devices and it's got the nice design, like it's meant to sit right on the entertainment unit, and you can look at it and you can see it and it looks like a quality device, compared to this thing that's spewing cables everywhere, and it's got this really weird circular thing that doesn't really sit properly. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
So in other words, make sure you guys get yourself a Buzz TV. Okay, Loki. We got to talk about Loki. Now, this is, to be fair, I've been giving everybody so much time, and when this episode comes out, Loki it should be in its last episode. Which days does Loki come out?
Tuesday.
Actually, when you're listening to this, Loki's final episode comes out. Actually, no. Yeah. This episode is
it'll be out already. Let's put it that way. It'll be out already.
So Loki will be done. So to be fair, I always tell people, don't spoil anything Marvel for me, or just don't do it. Don't do it. So,
or you be singing, why can't we be friends?
Yeah. At the time of this recording, I've watched the first episode of Loki. Let us know what you think in the comment section below of Loki. All I'm going to do is just talk about the first episode, period. So, and Next Level knows how I am with all this stuff. So,
first question. Is the storyline anything you thought it would be like? Because there was a lot of speculation.
Yes. So far, yeah. Remember a couple weeks ago I said, "Oh, I hope
it starts off with
like, hey, Loki grabs the freaking cube,
Tesseract,
skedaddles, and what the hell happened to him?" You know, as soon as I saw him go pew, into the sand, and I'm just like, how many Lokis just exploded off of that? That's the first question I asked myself. How many Lokis? Remember, I've only seen the first episode. I'm like, okay, cool. The Time Bureau or the Time Variant Agency, whatever they're called, TVA. They're like TVA. It sounds like TV add-ons. What the freak is that? The first thing I thought was, cool. I was right about the whole Time Bureau. They're coming in to fix it. I was shocked that freaking Owen Wilson is Mobius. Forget the guy's name.
Yeah,
Owen Wilson.
Yeah. Yo, he does a good job. Dude, he's good. He's
like,
good.
Sweet, you know? And I'm just like, I was like, okay. And then I went into the so I'm not going to spill the beans on who messaged me on Telegram, but I said, hey, so I finally watched the first episode because they said, do not look at the picture that Stephen R, good old Stephen R, posted on your Telegram group because it's going to spoil some stuff for you. And then I asked, so I'm not going to say him or her. I sent this person a message and I said, hey, look, just finish the first episode. Is it safe to look at that picture? Their response, yes. If you saw the first episode, go ahead and look at the picture. So then I saw the picture and I'm just like, wait. I'm like, these two actors have actually worked together before in the past? I was like, that's interesting because they showed the picture was them both being really young and then now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that's kind of cool. I'm like,
Loki and what's his name?
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I was like, that's cool. And then I'm just like, I would have been pissed if I saw that picture because I didn't know he was a freaking actor in the Loki show.
Right.
So I was like, oh, like, dude. So anyway, a couple things. I see a couple things off of this thing. Multiverse of Madness. The title of Doctor Strange. I will say this. When they make announcements of Marvel and when something is coming out, I usually watch that whole thing because what they'll do is they'll explain a lot of stuff from the current movies that are already out. So I'll watch it and I'll kind of see what they're doing. They're talking, they're interviewing the actors, and they're like, hey, this is our next lineup for the next phase of movies. And so I saw when they announced Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, and I'm just like, okay, this is cool. And then at the end of WandaVision, I was like, okay, something about Scarlet Witch, her two boys. I think I keep forgetting the guy's name, but pretty much the devil, the bad guy, has them somehow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
the one thing though that I kept thinking about is I wonder if Scarlet Witch is going to be a bad guy, because she was starting to turn kind of evil towards the end, you know? Like she put Hagatha in that spell and she's just like, bye. And it's just like, wait a minute, that's not really
her kids. Well, that didn't really did they exist? That it's just the whole
right. So here's the thing. In comic books, her kids, when they come out, I'm trying to like really like picture this. The devil person has her kids because Vision and her did have them.
Yeah.
You know, even though a lot of this stuff was made up, I think she impregnated herself based on Vision's DNA and had those kids, but because it was in this whole world, I think the devil took them. And at the end of WandaVision, you hear the two kids saying, "Mom, help us. Yeah. Help us." So it's just like, wait a minute. When they showed the little boy in Loki in that church, and the little boy was right there, and they're just like, "Hey, what's going on?" And there he was like they asked him who did this, and he pointed to the picture of a devil on the wall. I'm just like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm just like, he just pointed to him. That like this could go two different ways.
But isn't there a couple characters in the Marvel universe that kind of represent a form of the devil?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I think this one in particular, because it's this whole multiverse thing.
Right.
Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange.
They're kicking off so many different versions of a multiverse. In everything you watch, it's a different multiverse now. Like you look at Loki, that's a whole other multiverse ball game. You look at Doctor Strange, that's a whole other thing. You look at Scarlet Witch, she was in her own little multiverse. Like
right. They were all doing they're all making up their own little like reality. So I have a feeling that this devil person has her kids. I think this kid that was inside that church points at him. I think that is the person that might have her kids. And I think they're going to be confused to think that it is Loki. I think Loki, I don't want to say he cloned himself, but when he went and he shot himself out of there, I think it created multiple Lokis. It created multiple timelines, multiple universes, multiple things, because one of the things that the supreme sorcerer, the bald lady, she said if you take one of these stones, it's going to create ripples, a different reality, right? A multiverse. And then in the Loki show, they said that when you create a multiverse, because they did show a different line, same exact analogy, but they used the cartoon this time. They said it could create multiple realities, not just one. That one person that takes off can live that one, but when that happens, then they showed a whole bunch of lines everywhere that it just created a whole freaking thing. These people were freaking out. The Time Bureau were freaking out and trying to fix whatever the hell is happening, and they're all over the place and they're getting killed. I think Loki pretty much, I don't know how many duplicated himself, but I have a feeling it's going to lead somehow into the multiverse of madness. I think Loki is going to get back into the real timeline. And I also think they're setting up multiple bad guys. You know how they have these people like fixing the timelines and they're saying like, this is how it works. There is one of the statues in the back looks super familiar. I keep forgetting who the name of it is. But one of those statues in the background, I want to say he's one of the bad guys from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm almost pretty sure he's one of the bad guys from Guardians of the Galaxy.
To see it again,
dude. like I kept thinking about. I'm just like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I know it's gonna hit me. It's just gonna be like, bam, right upside my head. But this bad guy though, he didn't mess. He's the freaking God Killer. Is it Igor the God Killer?
I'm not sure.
Oh man, it's like right at the tip of my tongue. But he's one of the big bad guys that the Avengers are going to have to get together again, like all of them. And if not all of them, like it's going to be a group, like the Guardians, you know?
Godslayer,
I think. I forget what his first name is though. Something the Godslayer or something like that. But I think Loki is going to get back into the normal timeline. I think Thor is going to get involved in there somehow. Guardians are going to get involved in there somehow for that part of the story. But at the same time, during this whole multiverse of madness thing, Loki created a whole bunch of stuff that Doctor Strange is going to have to get involved. And also, I think Scarlet Witch is going to be a bad guy. I think she's going to be the one fighting Doctor Strange to try to get her kids. And I think she's going to have to make a deal. Remember, in WandaVision, all the witches were scared of her.
Yes.
They were like, we need to control this girl because she has this prophecy that she's going to destroy everything, you know?
Right.
So, dude, and you know, this also is making me question Ant-Man 3, Quantumanium, I think it's called.
I haven't seen much about Ant-Man 3, so I don't know. I just
know the title. I think it's Quantumanium, which is supposed to now go into the whole quantum realm.
Okay. And that's another multiverse, pretty much.
Yeah. And remember so if you remember Ant-Man, they said time in that area is different.
Yes.
It's not the same how your time is. It's a different time here. The Time Bureau, the TVA, they're saying time exists different here. This is a whole different. This isn't how your time is. There's no magic here. There's no nothing. The Infinity Stones don't work here. You know, they're just like, this is a whole different timeline. Can these guys be living in that quantum realm? Do you think about that?
Quantum realm. You're talking like what's going on in the TVA?
Yeah. So you know what the quantum realm is, right?
Yes.
Can the Time Bureau be living in that?
That's an interesting concept.
When you see Loki walking out with Mobius, and you see, is it Mobius? Mobius or
Morbius? But I wouldn't. I kept hearing Morbius, but I didn't want to call him Morbius because you know why.
Yeah, I know why.
So I don't want to call him that.
Owen Wilson, when you see them coming out and you see the city and the city looks like endless, like he's just like, I thought there's no magic here. And you look at the city, you're just like, dude, this place looks insane.
Right.
And he's just like, there's no magic here. He's just like, there's no way. He's just like, no, there's no magic. That doesn't exist here. And you look at it, you're like, I was looking at this and I'm just like, dude, that's got to be the freaking quantum realm.
That's an interesting concept. I'm not going to say anything because I've watched more episodes than you, but I do have to say that you have some very interesting ideas in regards to where things are going. I'm not going to say if you're right or wrong, but it's very interesting to listen to your perspective. Just getting into the first episode, or even before you got into the first episode, where you thought things were going. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I can say this because it won't ruin anything. That I honestly didn't think I was going to like the Loki series because I was never really a huge Loki guy. And after watching a few episodes, it's not bad. It's enjoyable. I don't mind watching it. If there was a second season, I would watch it again too. Right? Because Loki wasn't one of my like A-lister characters. I didn't really care about him, but they did a good job humanizing him. I'll put it that way, because he's never really been a lead role. He's always been a support character in a lot of things that we've watched. And he's the lead character. I think the actor that plays him did a very good job as well. He was very believable. So yeah, I think it actually did better than my expectations. I'll put it that way.
For me, the part that made him very human.
You like how I put it that way, right?
Yeah. Was when he grabbed that little thing and he started making the girl go backwards. And then he starts going like this, like forward, backward. And he's just like, and you could see him like, you freaking, this is how it feels. You know, I was dying. I was like, oh man. So I will say this, to move away from Loki a little bit. I am gonna be switching off it a little bit. So I think we did see the morning show and we loved it.
I didn't watch it. You watched it.
Yeah, I watched the morning show. Loved it. Have you heard of a show called Ted Lasso?
I've seen the poster for it.
It's with the Sudeikis guy. I forget his first name, but
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, love the morning show. This Ted movie, Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
loved it even more.
It's a movie, right?
It's a show.
It's a show. Okay, I'll have to check it out.
It's about 30-minute episodes, about 10 episodes. 30 minutes? I think about 30 minutes. Great show. Oh my dude. There's some parts that made you laugh. There's some parts that made you cry. Some parts that were like on the edge. The one thing, if you've seen the show, I'm gonna say two words over and over and over. You'll know what I'm talking about. If Next Level watches it, just wait till you get that part. Danny Rojas, Danny Rojas, Danny Rojas, Danny Rojas. That's all I'm gonna say. You have to watch it, not spoiling it. But when that happens, I guarantee you're gonna start cracking up. You're gonna be like, "What the hell?"
That's pretty funny. So it looks like it only has the one season. Are they scheduled for a second?
Yeah.
Is that an Apple original or
Apple original?
Yeah. Yo, I'm telling you, those Apple originals, I hate on their devices a lot, but they have good production. Good production.
Really good. Yeah. There's another one called like Jazzercise or I don't know, something about like jazzercising, and I forget who the girl is, but she's also a comedian from also Saturday Night Live. Dude, a lot of these people that they got are comedians, and they're doing a different style of show. Like the morning show, they have like half a dozen comedians on there, and they're not doing comedy, they're doing drama.
Yes.
It's just like, whoa. And then the Ted Lasso, it's not. He's also a comedian, but the way they're doing it, he's still doing comedy, but also drama. But they're making it like the American, like when you think American, like how American can you get? You always picture like the Midwest, like Kansas City, Chicago, freaking Missouri, like all the people that in the farmland. You're like, no, dude, that's like the heart, it's called the heartland of America because that's where all the farming is at, you know? Imagine grabbing one of those farmers. Like, this is the one thing I'll tell you. Imagine grabbing one of those farmers, coaching one of those teams. You know, you got your Texas and they have that twang in their voice and everything, you know? And then you send them off to the UK to freaking manage a soccer team in Richmond. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, it's kind of like, how the hell is that even going to work when that guy, he coaches football, like NFL. Right, yeah,
like I was just about to say, soccer's not that big in
the States. It's not.
No.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you grab somebody like this that has no knowledge of soccer or how the rest of the world calls it football, and have him coach a team from the UK? And this is like, dude, when you're talking about the UK, they're huge in freaking football and soccer, you know?
Right.
That's all I'm going to say. You got to check it out. Anybody out there, I don't want to spoil it for you. You got to check it out. In other news, Peacock is now available on your Fire Stick.
It's crazy that it took them. Like, when did Peacock come out?
Like the beginning of the year, I think, or
I think it's. Okay, it's been a year. I think it's been a year.
No, really?
Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna search this thing right.
Did it come out last summer?
Okay, I'm going to Wikipedia right now.
Just put when did
nationwide release July 15, 2020. Dude, it's been a year.
Wow. So it was last summer.
It took a year, bro.
So Amazon and Peacock finally put their
differences aside. Well, I think I don't know if this is true or not, but it was all about collecting data and who's going to make the money off of that. That's what it's all about, right?
That's always what it's all about.
So
sickening.
I can't believe that it took a year.
That should be very interesting now. So let us know what you think on that. Peacock is now available. If you haven't checked out Peacock, Peacock has a lot of cool free stuff that you can get off of them. They also have a premium side of things. With the free versions, of course, they're going to have ads. With the premium, I think it's very few ads. If anything, it might even be non-existent. I don't know if they have a no ads. They might have a no ad plan. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they do. They should if they don't.
Yeah,
I'm taking a look real quick.
But Peacock's got a lot of good stuff. I'm actually really happy that they're there finally with them. You know.
So it says NBC Universal and Amazon said that the app would be compatible with the entire Fire TV product lineup, but that it's unfortunately not the case. The app is not currently compatible with the first-gen Fire TV or the first-gen Fire TV stick. Well, shit. They're on sale. Go get a freaking device that's from this year.
Yeah. Who needs a freaking... Oh, man.
I wouldn't even bother making it compatible with those older devices. What's the point? That's
exactly.
That's like me coming out with an app and saying, hey, Rojas, it's not compatible on your KitKat devices. Are you okay with that?
No! ¿Por qué, Maria?
Right? Like, it's just software rolls over with time. Like, it's no longer supported. Even with a lot of our cell phones, you know, it was a norm for them to only get updates for 2 years. That first gen Fire Stick, that's like, what, 10 years old now?
Yeah.
People still begging for updates and things to be compatible or living in a different kind of multiverse. I don't know.
They need to start doing... Oh, so speaking of end of life stuff, anybody who has a
dark real quick.
Yeah, I did. Anybody who's got a PS3, you will no longer be able to play Call of Duty on the PS3, which I'm kind of thinking like, wait a minute. We're on the PS5. And you still got a PS3? Like they had like Call of Duty had to make an announcement saying like, hey, we are now going to be going end of life on COD because we are on the PS. I'm just like, wait a minute, you guys really had to make an announcement on that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's still people that use these older devices. It's crazy. I mean, oh man, I don't even want to say that. That was going to be mean. That was going to be mean. I'm not going to say it.
So yeah, so
just drink my coffee. It was going to be an Atari joke, but hey.
Oh man, and then we got. You know what? I want to save. I want to save the. I know there's tech stuff that you should know today. Maybe we'll do the links, all the links for the live show. So if you guys are missing, if you guys missed. We have another topic here that I want to save for live show, but you guys have to watch our previous live show to know what we're talking about. And next level don't know what I'm talking about. So the last thing I'm going to bring up here is Roku pushing 4K sales.
Yeah, so I seen this article on AFTV News, and from the beginning of time, it's known that Roku's had more devices in the hands of the many than Fire TV devices. Now, you know, in our little tiny streaming community, we hate on the Roku all the time because, you know, you can't sideload, you can't do certain things. Their operating system's pretty locked down, but regardless, they are everywhere you turn. A lot of people have these Roku devices, and we can scream on a soapbox until we're blue in the face about Fire TV sticks or Google boxes or Shields or Android boxes or whatever it is. And Roku's still number one. But apparently there was an article that came out from AFTV News again, and it says that they go on sale very frequently. While it may seem like they're on sale all the time or sale more often than they aren't on sale, that's not actually the case. However, the Fire TV Stick 4K is changing that because lately it's actually been on sale more days than it hasn't. That's a weird statement, right? So it's on sale more often than it's not on sale. Does that mean that the sale price is the regular price?
Might be. It's kind of like, it's like TiVo. TiVo came out saying they're going to be like $80 or $70, whatever it was.
Right.
And then they're just like, oh, we're going to do the sale for the first month. And then they never went back to normal price. And maybe that was a publicity stunt thing. But you know what? What I think it was is people started reviewing it. People started doing videos on it. They're like, dude, we're competing directly with the Fire Stick. The only way we can compete is if we keep this price where it's at. And that's kind of what it did. They never went back up. And it's funny because it's when you look at their website, it doesn't say, I think it's on their website. It doesn't say what their normal price is anymore. Now it just says the TiVo $49 or whatever it is, 39 for, I don't know, whatever the sale is, $29. I don't know. But they're saying that they took out their normal price out of that thing now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, but it's a great bang for your buck. You know, I've talked about the Fire TV devices being like a gateway drug, right? They give you that first hit. Sometimes it's free. You know what I mean? They're like, here, just take this first hit. But we also have to understand that these devices, they're ad subsidized. So you're paying less for the actual device. That's how they get you, right? And then they want you to get into things like their Prime and to pay for these subscription services as well, right? So that's how they're able to continuously put these devices on sale and get them into their ecosystem. Amazon is all about the ecosystem. As much as we don't think about it, they have an ecosystem almost as dominant as iOS or Apple or Samsung. I would actually almost argue that the Amazon ecosystem is more dominant than the Samsung one. I would think so, because do you remember when Samsung tried to come out with their assistant speaker?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, most people won't, but they did. They tried. they really tried to push their Bixby.
Oh, I remember that.
Right? See?
Now I remember that. Yeah, now I remember that. As soon as you said Bixby, I was like, yep, okay, now I remember that. Trash.
So I'd argue that the Amazon ecosystem is actually pretty freaking dominant, and it rivals the Apple ecosystem. It all depends on what you lean more towards, right? Obviously, Amazon tried to come out with a cell phone and they failed. They failed miserably. That was terrible. They should have never done that. I think their first mistake, I think they had a Facebook button. But yeah, so honestly, the Fire TV sticks and devices, they're great devices, good bang for your buck. A really interesting line here on the article says that it was on sale for 7 days and 15 days in the last 2-month period of 2019. But during this year, during May and June of this year, the Fire TV Stick 4K was on sale for 51 out of the 61 days.
Wow.
51 out of 61 days. That sale price is the regular price. You know what that kind of tells me, though? That they're going to do something. I think one of two things is happening. They're trying to get rid of all of their older packaging, which has the older remotes, or they might be coming in with a change of a device. I don't want to say a better device. I don't want to say something else. I don't want to put words out there. It just feels like they're trying to flush out something and they're trying to do something else, right? I've always said that there's kind of a gap between the 4K Fire Stick and the Cube. I feel like there's too big of a gap there.
I don't know. I don't know. Like when you look at hard drive space between the stick, the 4K, and then to actually any of the sticks to the Cube it's double. And then the RAM, how much RAM is on the Cube? Is it 2?
Yeah, it's 2.
So it's only half a gig difference. I think the only gap is really the price. because you're going from $40 to like $120. You're telling people to say pay $80 more to get the cube. Like, I almost wish the cube, if the cube was normally $100 on sale, well, not on sale.
Okay,
if it was $100,
let me ask you this then: would you buy a Cube Lite? And the Cube Lite would have no hands-free voice assistant. You would have the button on the remote. No, you wouldn't do a Cube Lite.
Right? I knew the first thing you were going to say was no Alexa, no Juanita assistant thing.
The hands-free. It would still have it.
Because what are you going to do with it? Are you going to go instead of 16 gigs, go 10 gigs?
You can't.
It sounds stupid already, you know?
But you can't. No, I would keep everything the way it is. But if you take out the voice assistant, you also take out the internal speaker, which means that you can shrink the size of it and shrink the price.
And then you're going to be stuck with that little dongle thing again. Remember that little box dongle thing that they came out with? Yeah. Then you'll have one of those. That thing was horrible. I got one and I gave it to my sister.
But you got it back and you got excited.
No. I'm talking about the dongle.
Oh, the dongle. You're talking about yeah.
I gave her the dongle. It still works. She's like, hey, this thing still works. No. The thing that I got it back was the thing that I gave to my mother-in-law. That thing is badass. Now, if anybody's still watching this, if you're listening to it, you're going to have to go to the video and watch.
Bye. That's the 2nd gen, right?
Yeah.
2nd gen Fire TV box, not sticks.
This is still I think when you look at the specs, this still beats every device out there. The only thing is that it's dated.
Yeah, the software wise,
it's just dated. That's it. But when Amazon did their charts and stuff, and other people have done their charts, they listed this thing. And I think when the 2nd gen Fire Cube came out, it came really close to beating it.
Really close. Yeah.
But it didn't beat it though. That's what I'm saying. I was so mad when they're just like, we're getting rid of these boxes. I'm like, but why? Like, this thing was freaking beast mode.
Yeah, we didn't have that in Canada.
Dude, this thing was, you know what?
We didn't have that in Canada. We didn't have the 1st generation Cube in Canada. We didn't have the 1st generation Firesticks in Canada. Like, Yeah. Yeah, looks good. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's nice.
It's got a micro SD slot on this.
No
thing.
way.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, these guys did stupid when they're like, let's make this little dongle thing. It's just like little man syndrome. What the hell happened to you guys? Like, dude, micro SD. That's what this slot right here is. That's a micro SD. You got your USB, Ethernet, your HDMI, your power. Like, the Ethernet is actually in here. You don't need an adapter of any sorts of it. Like, this thing was built right. What the hell?
So what if they came out with a Cube Lite and it looked like that?
With all these specs in here?
Oh, they probably wouldn't. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't put a card slot. They wouldn't put a card slot.
Don't call it a light. Just call it the Fire TV. Just call it Fire TV.
They're not going to do that.
3rd gen.
They're not going to put a card slot in a device. I don't think so.
Dude, this thing was just such a freaking beast. And then they stopped updating it. Oh, it's funny. 2015 Amazon.com. Dude, I'm so bummed out. If I could figure out a way to update everything on this thing, I might plug this back in somewhere.
But what doesn't work on it? Like, what do you need to update?
Well, I think it's using like DDR. I don't know what it might be. It might be. It definitely would be the older RAM on there. If I could find a way to get in, open it up, and take out the RAM, put some new stuff in there.
Get out the old soldering iron.
Dude.
grab a second
I've
generation.
told you what I did to the PS5.
Yeah.
If I could update like the RAM on that thing, GG. But anyway, it's been over an hour. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of streaming news. Beyond the streaming news,
you got all kinds of streaming news on this one. All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff. But yeah, anything you got to say next level before we get the hell out of here?
You know how I do, man. We're in the second season, kicking it off. Some great articles, some great conversations, some great people that we've had on the podcast already. Shout out to Lee TV and Free Tech for that hilarious episode. I'll put a card in the description or a link in the description of that episode. I always tell people go check it out because I had so much fun. You had so much fun on that episode. Make sure that you guys are leaving those likes, those comments, and you are, hitting that join or subscribe and leaving those reviews if you're listening to us on the podcast side, because it helps other people like yourself find the content that you're enjoying as well. Make sure you come out to the live shows every Thursday on YouTube at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're looking to interact with us live and in person, kind of virtually-ish.
Virtually-ish. Yeah. And yeah, stay tuned to the next episode because you never know who's going to be here or who is going to be causing some mess within the show.
Yes.
Some BS. So yeah, stay tuned. As always, make sure you guys do leave us a review, leave us a comment, share the information out there. That way people can find us. And yeah, we love you guys. Stay cool. It's hot as balls out there. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.